In this video, we're going to talk about your website and is it chasing your customers away? Now, we actually have done this presentation live at the Performance Marketing Summit in Salt Lake City, Utah in 2014, which is why you'll notice some of those details in the lower right-hand corner. This is actually the slides that we did for that, or that I did. And what I wanted to do is just sort of introduce myself. I'm Chris Mercer. My specialty is analytics and optimization. I'm the co-creator of Seriously Simple Marketing, so I'm the voice behind all these videos and the content that's there. And what we wanted to do is talk about the different ways that websites scare customers away. Some of those are call to actions. So you'll see submit, you'll see subscribe, you'll see sign up. These are very boring, sort of direct call to actions. I mean, imagine if somebody said, I need you to submit to me. Like, this feels weird, right? But get me started. I'm in. Send me my report. Like all that, a lot friendlier call to action. So one thing you want to take a look at is call to actions. Next is focus. We see a lot of pages where focus gets all messed up. You want to think about what the goal is here. So when you go through and you want to look at a page, right? What's the one action that you want them to take? If your page has navigation, it's probably hurting you. And when exactly should you be social? Should you be social on a sales page? Do you really want people sharing your sales page on Facebook? Who's going to do that? Nobody. Instead, it's just going to be a miscellaneous distraction. So if you look here, this is an example of a website. You got all these different places. Where exactly do you want them to click? Are they supposed to click on the apply now, on the advertise now, on the search, on the register? Where exactly? There's lots of different places. And because there's lots of different places and there's not one that's stronger than the other, it hurts conversions. Always, of course, please don't use sliders. So sliders are those little things that do exactly what that graphic just did. They actually go through and they slide from left to right. And a lot of blogs have this. A lot of WordPress themes have this because they're built in and they're eye-catching. And that's the exact reason you don't want to use them, because they catch the eye and they end up being distractions in most cases. Think about expectations for a second. What's causing the click, and are you delivering on that click? So here's what I mean by that. Let's say, this is a little graphic we did, is sort of like, hey, is it just scaring people, right? Are you surprising them? Let's say you took a look at this ad, right? So you've got bikesdirect.com. Well, when you click on this ad, what would you expect to happen? You would expect to see, most likely, bikes up to 60% off. And so when you came to a page, you would expect that to be the message. But instead, if you came to this page, where exactly are you supposed to go? What's the call to action? Yeah, technically, if you look really hard, you'll see that 60% off is there, but it's difficult to find it. So instead, you want to connect the dots. Make less guessing, right? Don't make them work. It's less guessing. The better it is for you if they have to guess less. So make sure you connect the dots step by step. Here's another example of basically the same sort of site, right? So it's about selling bicycles. This one's by Wayfair, but you can see they have a lot less guessing to have to do. So let's say you came to this page looking for a bicycle. Now you sort of go, let's refine, right? Let's refine and we can figure out what type of bike we want and what sort of gender and price points and everything else. And you can start filtering down your bikes. It's a lot less distracting. There's still some elements of distraction, of course, because this is an e-commerce site, but it's a lot less distracting than that first site that we took a look at. When it comes to mobile, you want to make sure you're watching out for this. You've got PayPal with their one-step checkout. You have Google Checkout. You've got Apple Pay, the new kid on the block. And you've got upsells from email that you'll be able to do where you just click on the button in email and it'll automatically get added to people's cards. So there's going to be a whole bunch of stuff coming down. And the biggest reason for that is because of, in 2015, at least in the US, all the retailers have to update their equipment. So that's going to be a huge thing for mobile payments. Let's talk about images here. I actually jumped to that slide just a little bit early, but images are all about conveying a message, and they do that without having copy around them, but they should support the copy that's around them. So let's look at the images that are on the left-hand side. You'll see these two girls there. One's using a phone smiling at you for no apparent reason. The other one's using a tablet, again, smiling, looking at you for no apparent reason. What exactly are those images saying? Well, let's say you're working on an app and your website is talking about your app. Would you use those images? They don't really mention anything about an app or using an app. They don't look like they're easy to use. It's not demonstrating anything. It's just miscellaneous people staring kind of creepily at you with these smiles, like for no apparent reason. And they don't communicate anything. But on the right-hand side, you'll see those images do a little bit more work. And so if the copy around them was talking about how easy the app was, easy to use, or how it's convenient to use or whatever, you could see that, hey, somebody laying back on the couch can use this app. Or, hey, I'm on the go, if you're trying to communicate on the go. guy sitting outside using his app. So those sort of images on the right-hand side communicate just a little bit better than the ones that are on the left-hand side. When it comes to authority, this is something you also want to make sure that you're doing lots of testing on. So are you creating questions or are you answering concerns? So I see a lot of people that will use authority images and talk about security and all that sort of stuff, but they do it way early in the process when somebody probably isn't thinking about if the site is secure or if it's safe to buy from them. They are thinking, should they buy from them? And really, you want to have all of these symbols pop up after they've made that decision to purchase. And now they're making the decision, do I give them my credit card? That's where they're thinking about security and safety. And that's where you want to make sure you have symbols that communicate authority. So those are sort of the basics, the 7. I did go kind of fast in this video because we were condensing this. But of course, if you have questions, we definitely have it at the blog. So over at seriouslysimplemarketing.com, and you'll see the link if you're watching this on YouTube right at the bottom there. You can click and ask any questions you'd like. But to review, you've got call to action, you've got the focus, you've got to meet expectations, make sure you connect the dots, make sure you keep it in mind mobile. Images, if images could talk, remember that. What is the image saying without the words around it? What does the image say to you? And then you want to use the image that most closely represents the copy that it's around. And then authority images, making sure you have properly placed authority images. At the end of the day, one very, very important tip. If you want a welcoming website, you must split test. You have to measure and split test. So make sure that you've got Google Analytics installed and are using that properly, and that you're split testing with something, whether it's Google Analytics, that they've got their experiments feature, you've got Visual Website Optimizer, Optimizely. There's a ton of tools out there. No excuse to not be measuring and split testing, and that is the absolute best way to improve your website's performance. Of course, if you have questions, you can email me directly if you want, Mercer at SeriouslySimpleMarketing.com. There's my Twitter handle. You can find me on Facebook, LinkedIn, Google, and of course over at SeriouslySimpleMarketing.com. And again, if you're watching this on YouTube, you'll see a little link that will take you directly to a blog post that we did about this. And from there, you can ask any sort of comments and questions that you want. And if you found this video helpful, subscribe, join the channel. We'll send you out a notice every time we post one of these videos. Thanks again for watching this video, and we'll see you on the next one.